Bitcoin crossed $46,000 per coin this week after Elon Musk and Tesla disclosed that they bought $1.5 billion of Bitcoin with their cash holdings. That naturally leads to the question, should Bitcoin be part of your investment portfolio? In this week's episode, we'll cover the pros and cons of Bitcoin. Hello everyone, it's Professor D. Lee with answers to your most pressing personal finance questions. Before we get into it, I'm not providing financial or investment advice in this episode. Please only take it as informational, educational / entertainment value. Full disclosure, I do own some Bitcoin, very small amounts. I'm unfortunately, for myself, not a Bitcoin millionaire, but wanted to make that disclosure. Quick recap of what's happened to Bitcoin just in the last year. So 1 year ago today, Bitcoin was trading at roughly $10,000. It hit a low of $3,900 or so in March of 2020. That's when the full effect and expectation of the pandemic started settling in on the public. The US stock market dropped about 30%. And Bitcoin took a big dip as well, which was surprising to me because I thought when everybody thought the world would end, I thought Bitcoin would actually rally, but it fell with the market. But since then, it's just been on a tear. It reached about $37,000 roughly a month ago, it looks like. And then after a minor dip, it's right back up and it's at all-time highs of $46,000, $47,000. Now, I'm no expert in cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, but as far as I see it, I feel like Bitcoin is just where people can store value, similar to the US dollar and gold. A few things going for Bitcoin. Wall Street Journal reported that the US companies are sitting on the largest pile of cash ever, $2.1 trillion of cash. And if a few of those companies go the way of Tesla, you can expect that they might buy some Bitcoin with their cash, which would drive up the price of Bitcoin. Number two, Bitcoin is getting easier and easier to buy for retail investors as well. You can buy Bitcoin on the Square's Cash App. You can now buy it on PayPal. Coinbase is becoming bigger and bigger, which is an app that you can also buy Bitcoin on. And there's been a long rumor that Bitcoin ETF is coming as well. And so the easier it is to buy Bitcoin for the everyday investor, you can also see that that might drive up the price of Bitcoin. But perhaps what's most interesting and promising with Bitcoin is that cryptocurrency in general is starting to see some real products being built on top of it. And so it's becoming a way for people to exchange value much like you would do with the US dollar. But instead of trading US dollars, it is becoming easier to trade with cryptocurrency. Now, some of the things that are going against Bitcoin. One, I personally don't subscribe to the notion that the US dollar is going to depreciate into oblivion and that it will be worth nothing in the very near future. If you've taken Econ 101, you know that printing money and borrowing from a country's perspective, especially a powerful country like the US, is not necessarily a bad thing. Interest rates are very low, so we're borrowing at a very low cost. And if inflation increases in the future, that diminishes the value of the loan anyway. And so will Bitcoin overtake the US dollar, anytime in the near future? I don't know, but a lot of things would have to go wrong in order for that to happen, in my opinion. Secondly, Bitcoin is just very unstable and it's very volatile, and so it's hard to use it like a currency. It's also hard as an investment as well. When the investment is that volatile, it puts you on an emotional roller coaster, and it's not good for your mind, sanity, but it's probably potentially harmful for your pocket too, because you might be selling or buying at the wrong time, led by an emotion. Last but not least, Bitcoin is still a relatively new technology, and there's a lot of kinks that are still being worked out. transactions still seem to be pretty slow. Purchasing and selling Bitcoin still seems to be slow or more expensive than, say, trading individual stocks. And it's been rumored that 20% of Bitcoin has been completely lost because people have forgot their passwords, which makes it hard to take Bitcoin seriously in some ways. Which leads to the question, should you have Bitcoin as part of your portfolio? Couple of thoughts. One, I would expect you to max out other parts of your financial savings before you get to Bitcoin. And what I mean by that is, if you are thinking about buying Bitcoin, I certainly hope you have already maxed out your 401k, that you're maxing out your backdoor Roth IRA, that you're maxing out your HSA if you have an HSA, that your emergency fund is fully funded, and that you are contributing enough to meet the many financial goals that you probably have. If you've done all of that and you still have leftover discretionary income that you're looking to invest, then maybe Bitcoin could make sense. So quick recap. Should you have Bitcoin as part of your investment portfolio? Answer is maybe. First, make sure you're taking advantage of all of your tax advantaged accounts. 2, make sure you're saving enough for your financial goals where you're confidently progressing towards them. And then 3, if you still have discretionary income left to save, then it could be reasonable to have some small portion towards Bitcoin as a speculative bet. Just make sure that you have a steel stomach, because we've seen this play out before in December of 2017, where Bitcoin skyrocketed to $20,000 before dropping very quickly to just about $3,000 or $4,000. If you found this video to be helpful, make sure you like and subscribe, and to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and now Clubhouse. The link to sign up for my monthly newsletter is in the description below. I'll see you all next week.